Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's KB5MIQ Big Boy. And we fixing to draw for a winner of our 1992 ARRL hard copy handbook. I'll get it in the mail to the winner Monday. We're up to 405 subscribers, and we had about 11 entries come in for it, so I appreciate that. If we hit 800 subscribers, we'll give something else away. We'll appreciate everybody who's supporting the channel, and we're going to see who I can get out of the hat here. Got everybody's name in there. And, okay. Terry Adams, KA4OYI, Summerville, Georgia. That's going to be our winner. Appreciate everybody who entered, and I'll get that book out in the mail to him Monday morning. Got a couple of things we're going to chit chat about here, and then we're going to show y'all my radio I bought at the Ham Fest that I got going. Guys, let me address old hams first. Guys, the new young people coming up have got a different way of learning than we had. Hey, Ham Radio Cat. There's old Ham Radio Cat. Come up here, Aaron, #1 fan. I don't know if we can get up here where you can see him or not. But they've got a different way of learning this hobby than we had. So we're just going to have to get used to it. There's different, different technologies available, different ways of looking information up, and they just got a different way of learning it. So when we get asked questions, especially on social media, if you can't answer a question without a snarky response, or you should have learned that when you took your test, or whatever, just don't answer the question. I may make some of y'all mad, I'm sorry, but just don't answer the question, because it's not helping our ranks any, okay? I've been asked questions, and a lot of questions I'm asked, I'm thinking, well, they should have learned that in the first test. Well, I looked at the first test question pool a while back, and that has changed since I took my test. So there's things that you would think would have been in there that's not now. They may have put it up in general. I hadn't looked at any of the higher ones, the recent ones lately. But if a new guy asks a question, just try to give him an answer. Don't tell him he's got to start a radio. Don't tell him you need to buy what I got or anything like that. I try to give people as generic an answer to the point as I can. I try to be as polite as I can about an answer and try to give them the tools where they can finish getting the response they want. But us being jerks to them is not helping matters any. And I don't want anybody to start saying, well, you're going to turn this into a CB band. That don't fly with me. Because in 91, I used to tune down and listen to 3853. And every one of them guys on there had passed at least 13 words per minute. And y'all remember what that was. So let's don't accuse anybody of turning anything into a CB band. We got to keep these guys interested, and we got to keep them learning. So try to give them just a decent answer. That's it. New guys, new hams. Get prepared. You know how social media is. If you ask a question, just be prepared for all the answers you get. Don't get mad to leave a site because somebody gave you a answer you didn't like. Okay? That's just overlook them. Don't even worry about that. But read all the information you can, and you can pick out what's good information out of it. Feel free to email me, comment. I'll try to answer people's questions, and if I don't know the answer, I'll tell you I don't know the answer. And if I tell you a type of a radio, I'm making a suggestion. I may tell you what radios I own, but I'm not telling you to buy the type of radio I got. Okay. All right, what was the other? I guess the other thing was that important. I don't remember what it was now. But now I want to talk to you guys looking for HF radios. And I know new ones are expensive. Jeff and Cody runs an 891 and he really likes it. W5DLX, he's had 891 for over a year now, I think. Really likes the radio. He does a lot of remote with it. Him and his family are big campers, and they do a lot with it. Jeff and I had a chance to see Vern Six at Mena at his POTA site, and he was running an 891. And Jeff's looking to get into some more portable stuff, and he just purchased him an 891 for that. Now, looks like good radio, very reasonably priced radio, and if you can find them. Now, another guy, I know what the other point I was trying to make in this was, this guy was talking about, what if I need to make emergency contacts and I'm in an area that don't have good cell phone coverage? And they was talking about different things you can do. You know, when I got in this hobby, I've told people, get your tech license with a 2-meter radio in your vehicle and you'll find somebody to help you. And that's the way it was before cell phones took over. Now, I don't know. I know I drive once a month 260 miles to north central Texas and back. And I've got repeaters programmed in Clarksville, Texas, Paris, Texas, Bonham, Texas, Sherman, Texas, Gainesville, Texas, Decatur, Texas, and Azle, Texas. Every once in a while I can catch somebody in Clarksville, and the only contacts I've made that way was in Decatur. I've never heard a person, and all these repeaters, I could chunk them. They go through, they're up. Never hear any traffic on them. So I don't know what the good answer is for that. You know, if you get in mobile HF, you got a variety of antennas you're going to have to go, and I've got a video, several videos back where we talked about that. I do recommend keeping a 2-meter with you, if nothing else but a talkie, because it might work in certain locations. But I don't know what the answer is anymore. Everybody says GMRS or family radios and everything else. It doesn't hurt to be a little redundant with your cell phone. Carry a 2-meter with you. But that's why we keep pushing for techs to get on 10 meters, so they don't get bored with this hobby. You buy a $25 bail phone and get on local repeaters, and there's not many people on there, you're going to get bored with this hobby pretty quick. All right, let's talk about HF radios and what they cost. And I'll be the first to admit HF's a little more expensive hobby to get into. It really is. But if you look around, you can find a decent deal on an HF radio. Now, I just bought a 40-year-old radio. And everybody said, why in the world would you buy a 40-year-old radio? Well, sort of like a boomer that's got disposable income that don't mind giving $30,000, $40,000 for a rebuilt muscle car he had in high school. I'd love to do that. I'd love to have a 72 El Camino, but I ain't got the disposable income. But my very first rig back in 91 was an ICOM 701 HF rig. Great radio. Used it, made contacts all over the world with it on 10 meters. I got inactive for a while, and I had it out stored in an area that really wasn't climate controlled. And in mid-2000s, when I tried to get back going with it again, I wasn't picking up nothing. And I finally figured out that I thought 10 meters was dead until I went down and tried to find WWV and couldn't hear nothing on the radio. All I could just hear was spurious noise in it. So something had happened, the receive had gone out in it. I took it to Hamcom in 09. Of course, I had all the boxes, the matching desk mic, the power supply, spare power cable, and all the manuals and a set of schematics. And I told the guy, it didn't work. What was out in it, but it would transmit. He gave me $150 for it. At Queen Wilhelmina last weekend, I bought another 701. Of course, I just got the radio and the power supply and the cord. I didn't get a mic with it. But the radio appears to function fine. I've got the mic matched up to it. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. But ICOM 701, and I'm going to see if I can turn this around a little bit. You'll see it right there. Appears to work great. Clean radio. I give $150 for it. I had a MFJ 297 desk mic, and I've been trying to hook it up all week and having all kinds of problems with it. Had another ham catch up there with me. I ain't got his call wrote down. It was Jerry out of, I believe, up in Foreland. And we got on the phone with him, and we told him to give me a few tricks to try on it. And the 297 has a coil cable. It's got an 8-pin Cat 5, I call them, Cat 5 style connector on both ends. Well, I'm pinning out. I cut the end off and go to the radio, and looking at the MFJ book, and I pinned it out what I called push to talk ground, mic ground, push to talk, and mic input. Wouldn't work. I've tried every combination of wire on that thing all week, desoldered, resoldered, desoldered, resoldered. After I talked to him, I pinned it out, and I was still hooking it up according to MFJ's chart right. Well, I unplugged the other end and held the connectors up side by side. And I don't think this was a mistake because the radio is designed to cover various mics. And it worked. I used it on my 897 for a long time. It worked fine. But that connector going into that microphone was wired different than the other end was. And I sat there and I looked at it and I picked out the wires that matched the pins, the location on the pins that I needed. Worked first time. So I got it up and got it going. I'm waiting for Cody and Jeff to get home. We're going to do a radio check on it, help me get the audio set on it, see how it's going. But radio appears to work. Guys, get into HF. Got to have HF radio. Everybody wants the latest bells and whistles, and if your budget allow that, you get what you want. But if you want to find a used gear, here's my rule of thumb. I'm an old gun trader. When I go look at a gun, I'm talking to the guy that's trying to sell it, and I ask him questions, and I kind of go by his knowledge and his body language on whether I buy the gun or not. That may not work with radios, but so far it's worked with me. And here's my rule of thumb when I go to a ham swap meet. If a guy's got just a table full of junk sitting there just stacked on top of one another, it's a little dusty, and it's just all kinds of stuff, and you get to talking to him and he don't act like he really can give you a lot of information about it, more than likely that's a guy just going to junk stores buying stuff to resell. If you come up on a table, the guy's got his stuff sitting there neat, lined up, radio's not covered in dust, he's willing to talk to you about it, and he seems legit, you're probably getting a good radio. This particular radio is kind of funny. I went up there and didn't really intend to buy anything. I found this radio at 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:30 in the morning. He had the radio, and he had a similar era ICOM 2-meter all-mode bass unit there, and they both used the same mic, and he only had one mic. He was asking $300 for the pair. I kind of wanted both of them, but I didn't have $300 cash on me. Didn't take that much cash with me. And he said, well, whoever buys the first radio gets the mic with it. So, all right, so I'm thinking, well, go on. Maybe somebody will buy it and you'll make your mind up for you. So Jeff got there and we looked at it again, and we went and looked at some other stuff. Then went and talked to Vern, and come back by about 11 o'clock. He still had both radios there. I looked at him again, talked to him. He swore up and down at work, offered to hook it up. I mean, I didn't have no reason to doubt what he was saying. We went to lunch, done a little 2-meter connecting, and worked on that. Walked back through there, and I sat there at lunch, and I counted up what cash I had in my pocket. Man, I don't know, $230, $40 on me. I don't know. Told Jeff, I said, I'm going to go back there. If he got both of them radios, I'm going to say, look, I'm not trying to beat you out of nothing, but here's all the cash I got if you want to take it. Well, dang, he had sold the 2-meter all mode and the mic. And I give him $150 for this radio. And I'm tickled to death with it. So, the only thing about an older HF rig that the newer ones have, the older ones don't, they don't have much SWR protection, so you're going to have to be sure your antenna's resonant with it. So, anyway, hope everybody enjoys this video. Thank everybody who entered the contest, and we'll do another when we hit 800. Appreciate everybody who subscribed to the channel. Remember, our 10-meter roundtables on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Friday nights. We start at 7:30 Central Standard Time, and we usually start on 28,450, but if the band's open, there's a net on that, or somebody's holding the frequency, we go to 470. But we will always be in the novice tech portion of 10 meters. For a while there, we'd have a lot of guys check in with us, and a lot of techs was checking in with us, and we enjoyed that. Band's been kind of dead here lately, hadn't had any check-ins, but if you hear us, please check in. It's not a formal net, just a little informal roundtable. Remember your club pages: Four States Amateur Radio Club, Shreveport Amateur Radio, Dallas Amateur Radio, Cowtown Amateur Radio. Facebook pages: Ham Radio, Flea Market, Trading Post, Ham Radio, Texas Amateur Ham Radio, Amateur Radio Elmer's. Remember Main Trading Company in Paris, Texas. MTC Online is a good place to order ham gear from. They got a good selection. My call sign's KB5MIQ. My email's on my QRZ page. Feel free to drop me an email. Thanks to all those who entered the contest, and appreciate everybody who subscribed to the channel. It's KB5MIQ, Big Boy 73.